Today, we become legends.
Oh yeah, it's time to cry like a big baby about the big baby. Vamana has recently become meta and it's triggered my PTSD as he walks over my entire team with just one ability. And unlike my regular rants, the only problem is this dumb-ass ultimate. How many things do you think this does for Vamana? 5? 7? 9? Try 10. Yeah, this ability is hands down the most bloated ability in the whole game. Hi-Rez basically threw the kitchen sink at Vamana in an attempt to make his ult viable when it was still being hard countered by Ankh, and it has resulted in one of the most stupid and obviously overpowered abilities we've ever seen. This ability gives 45 of each protections, 111 power, 6.75% attack speed, 10% max health and shields per second, 25% lifesteal, 15% movement speed, attacking, strafing and backpedaling movement penalty reductions, long duration CC immunity, AoE basic attacks, ability to walk through player made walls, and it gives all of this stuff for up to 10 seconds. Sure, if you completely ignore Vamana for the whole thing, it only lasts 6 seconds, but that causes a very similar dilemma to Khepri ult. If you don't focus Vamana down, he gets 6 seconds to walk into your backline and do whatever he wants with massive increases to 5 of his core stats and other bullshit this ability does, or you try and focus him down and say your prayers to baby Jesus that you can do it quickly, because if you don't, he gets 10 seconds instead of 6, which by the way brings the total shields of this ability to 100% of his max health. Yeah, he just gets 2 health bars alongside all the other stuff this does. Considering you'll have a minimum of 2.0 attack speed by late game as Vamana, that's 12 hits or 20 hits if he gets the full 10 seconds. And considering Vamana builds crit out of jungle now, because why wouldn't he, he's easily hitting for over 500 damage per basic on the backline, and that's post mitigations. And that's not including any other effects he might have like kin size, Axe of Animosity from solo lane, AoE damage from Golden Blade. Basically, he can delete a carry in 2 to 3 seconds and gets a minimum of 6 seconds to do whatever he wants. And since it gives 0.5 seconds extra for every single instance of damage he takes, you only need to get hit 8 times to max out the duration to 10 seconds. Which if there is any tick damage involved at all will happen instantly and will often happen even against bursty teams. Which reminds me, if you're a tank, don't hit Vamana in his ult. You can't CC him and you'll do about 100 damage while giving him even more time in his giant state to walk over your team. The only exception of course is Sunder, which is basically the only way to counter this ability. Sunder him and commit all your DPS to burning him down. Which leads to other problems where you're dumping everything you have into the big baby and the rest of his team can kind of do what they want. Tanks are useless against him because he's CC immune the whole time and impossible to peel, so basically you need to put the DPS firing squad on him, and even that might not be enough, especially if he's fed. And building tanky from solo lane perhaps. And even Sunder and Ankh, the dedicated counters most people think of to Vamana, remove 75% of current shields. And since he doesn't get a fat shield as soon as he ults, like Baba Yaga for example, it trickles in every 0.2 seconds, so even these don't really work as well as you'd think they do. The Sunder % damage increase is often more valuable than the shield reduction actually. Sure, you can wait a few seconds for his shields to build up and then Sunder him, but that defeats the whole purpose. If you give this guy more than 3 seconds in your backline, someone is dead. A better option for dealing with the entire health bar Vamana gets is actually the anti-shield items, since they reduce any shields applied at any time, not just delete current shielding. So Erosion, Envenom DB, and if you hate yourself, Gem of Isolation are actually a better way to deal with the shielding. But the shield isn't the only problem, and that's the issue I have with Vamana ult. It's so bloated that you need 7 different Swiss Army knives just to cut through all the bullshit. You buy Erosion to help deal with the shields, but then you've got to worry about his damage, his free lifesteal, his complete CC immunity, his ridiculous attack speed, the list goes on. Dealing with this ability feels like trying to solve 6 different puzzles all at once while someone defibrillates you at regular intervals. It's just impossible to deal with absolutely everything he throws at you. The fact that this ability is still on a base 90-second cooldown is a travesty. So many powerful ults get their cooldowns increased to 100, 110, 120, or even 140 seconds in the case of Yamoja, which I believe is the longest base cooldown of any ability in the game. This absolutely deserves to be 100 or 110 seconds, and I have no idea why it's 90. In fact, it's not really even 90, it's 81 because of the free warrior CDR, potentially even lower if you're playing Vamana tanky or from solo because of silver buff and easier access to CDR on solo items versus going crit damage for mana from jungle. Increasing the cooldown to 100 or 110 seconds, reducing the power, and maybe even adding a mechanic like Shiver where certain types of CC can still affect Vamana in the ult is definitely the way to go with nerfing this ability. It makes no sense that Shiver can be stunned out of his ult, Lancelot can be stunned off of his horse, but Vamana gets complete immunity to absolutely everything when this ult is more powerful than Shiver's and also more frustrating. But anyway, that's enough ranting for one day. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.